Mangwana ni mwalelepo vukenjani qenkqas wanawe Africa. Welcome to Africa Good Morning, the news and current affairs show bringing you everything you need to know happening in the SADC region and beyond. Today is Wednesday, the 20th of October, and as usual, you're joined by Ashwin Berry and Aina Raizakweyo.
Wednesdays are absolutely my favorite day of the week. Now, today is World Statistics Day, acknowledging that the production of reliable, timely statistics and indicators of countries' progress is indispensable for informed policy decisions and monitoring implementation of the Millennium Development Goals. The General Assembly adopted on the 3rd of June 2010 a resolution A64-267, which was officially designated on the 20th of October 2010 as the first ever World Statistic Day. And here is more on that. In our top stories this morning, airstrikes hit Tigray capital. Airstrikes hit the capital of Ethiopia's Tigray region on Monday, injuring several civilians, regional TV controlled by the Tigrayan People's Liberation Front reported. However, the government has denied the reports. Tigray TV said that the attack on the capital city of Mekelle was carried out by Abiy Ahmed, Ethiopia's prime minister. One humanitarian official in the city confirmed the airstrike, said via SMS to AFP on condition of anonymity. The attack were also confirmed by second humanitarian sources, 2 diplomats and a rebel spokesperson. A resident of the city told Reuters one strike hits close to a market behind a hotel. An aid worker and a doctor in the region also said there had been attacks, and a diplomat shared a picture of what they said was the aftermath, including pools of blood and smashed windows.
In our second story, bloodbath in Sokoto as bandits reportedly kill over 30 and injure many in weekly market. Residents told Premium Times that the bandits circled the market and started shooting sporadically as they pressed in on people attending the popular market in Goronyo, headquarters of the LGA. A human rights activist in the state, Basharu Guyawa, said the bandits raided the market with a force of about 200 men. But Mr. Guyawa said nobody could ascertain the number of those killed in the attack that locals said lasted for several hours. Bashir Adamu, a retired civil servant from Sabon Beni, said on Sunday was a black day for the people of the area. It was a black Sunday for us. Over 30 people were killed, while more than 20 were seriously wounded, he said. The police spokesperson in the state, Sanusi Abubakar, did not respond to calls and SMSs sent to him with regards to the attack.
In our next story, Nigerian army says 24 Islamist insurgents were killed. Nigerian troops killed 24 suspected Islamist insurgents in 2 attacks in the northeast and recovered some weapons, the army said on Tuesday. Major General Christopher Musa, commander of the anti-insurgency task force, told Reuters that soldiers killed 16 Boko Haram insurgents a few kilometers from Maiduguri city, the capital of Borno State. Musa said that during the encounter with the insurgents, 2 gun trucks were seized and 1 was destroyed. President Muhammadu Buhari said security forces are making gains against insurgents in the northeast and also against the armed bandits who have carried out kidnappings for ransom and killed hundreds in the northwest.
Rwandanese militia group invades 6 villages in the eastern DR Congo. The armed forces of the DRC has accused the Rwandan military group by the name Buhumba of infiltrating and invading the Nyiragongo region in North Kivu, located in the eastern parts of the country. Kinshasa claims to have recovered 1 Rwandan weapon and a few other items, and further claimed that the forces had occupied 6 villages at the time. Meanwhile, the Congolese army claimed to have repelled this incursion. The North Kivu operational sector Sokola 2 confirms the invasion of external elements on Congolese soil. They occupied 6 villages and had come through 200 meters from the National Road number 2. We have recovered a weapon from them, which we have presented to the press. We have also recovered looted items, said Major Jilaume Njike Kayiko, army spokesperson in the area. For nearly 4 months, civil society in the Nyiragongo area has been warning of the presence of the Rwandan army on Congolese soil.
3 policemen killed in Niger jihadist assault. Jihadists attacked a police post overnight in Niger's troubled frontier zone with Burkina Faso, killing 3 policemen and wounding 7 others, local officials told AFP on Monday. The Flashpoint area is frequently targeted by the Islamic State in the Greater Sahara and the Al-Qaeda-affiliated group for the support of Islam and Muslims. There was no attack on a border checkpoint at Petakol, an elected official told Tillaberi said. 2 policemen died and 7 were injured. Another official who visited the site later said the body of a 3rd policeman has been found. The first official said the attacks burnt 2 vehicles and took away weapons. According to a municipal worker, armed men on the motorbikes had tried to attack the post on Saturday afternoon but fled after the police fought back.
Now in South Africa, hundreds marched to union buildings over health system corruption. The TAC convened a demonstration march to the union buildings on Monday against corruption in the health system and failing public health facilities. More than 200 people marched from Loftus Stadium to the union buildings in Pretoria. TAC General Secretary Anele Yawa handed a memorandum to Deputy Minister of Health Sibongiseni Dlomo and to Mandla Feni from the presidency. Dlomo said the department would start internal disciplinary processes and suspensions and would keep the public updated on this. TAC National Chairperson Sibongile Shabalala said that its community-led monitoring program in all provinces apart from the Northern Cape found that facilities are in shambles and instances where people still wake up at 2 a.m. only to be assisted late in the afternoon or sometimes turned away without assistance.
Massive pro-military sit-in shakes Sudan's democracy efforts. On Monday, as thousands of demonstrators aligned with the Sudan military remain outside the presidential palace for a 3rd day, analysts warned that the civilian-led interim government is facing a growing crisis that could topple its rule. Sudan is facing its most trying political challenges since it formed an interim government among rival factions after the fall of ex-president Omar al-Bashir in 2019. After a political coup attempt was thwarted in September, al-Bashir loyalists have upped their dissent and are demanding changes to the civilian cabinet and the shaky coalition co-running the government. People participating in the massive sit-in outside the presidential palace in Khartoum are demanding the government to be dissolved and replaced with technocrats. Interim government supporters says the members of the military and security forces are driving the latest protest, which involve counter-revolutionary sympathizers of al-Bashir.
In our next story, Morocco police seize over 1 ton of cocaine in Tangier port. Morocco police said they seized on Monday 1 ton and 335 kilograms of cocaine concealed in a container ship in Tangier Med port. The ship departed from Brazil and was heading to the port of Antwerp in Belgium and Portbury in the UK, the police said in a statement.
South Africa rejects Russian Sputnik vaccine over HIV fears. South Africa's health products regulator on Monday said it would not approve Russia's Sputnik V COVID-19 vaccine due to concerns it could increase the risk of HIV infection among men. The use of Sputnik V vaccine in South Africa, a setting of a high HIV prevalence and incidence, may increase the risk of vaccinated males acquiring HIV, the South African Health Product Regulatory Authority said in a statement. It added that the company behind the application for the use of Sputnik V in South Africa had no proof the formula would be safe in setting of high HIV prevalence. The countries worst hit by the pandemic in Africa also has the world's highest number of people living with HIV and has been struggling with vaccine hesitancy.
Internally displaced children in Nigeria need more protection from the state. Internal displacement of people has been a recurring challenge in Nigeria. There are several factors that contribute to it, but violent conflicts caused by religious extremism and ethnic clashes remain the most important. Violent attacks by Boko Haram since 2009 have displaced over 2 million people. Inadequate resources have made it challenging to realize the right to healthcare services too. Children have died of malnutrition and illnesses such as malaria and cholera due to lack of medication and quality food. The shortage of medicines and personnel at all times remains an impediment to providing quality healthcare services. Thus, many displaced persons rely on occasional interventions from humanitarian actors, which is not always a reliable source of healthcare. Due to the shortage of resources and meaningful sources of livelihoods, many households resort to child labor. Children have to beg and hawk and are used as farmhands so that they can support their families.
In our next story, Tanzanian passport ranks 77 on world's most powerful list. The Tanzanian passport has ranked 77 among the world's most powerful passports, according to the latest report which assesses the influence of global travel documents. According to the research conducted by Henley Site, the Tanzanian passport grants a holder access to 72 countries globally without the requirement of paying for a visa. The Henley Passport Index is the original authoritative ranking of the world's passports according to the number of destinations their holders can access without a prior visa. The index is based on exclusive data from the International Air Transport Association. On the list, Tanzania is tied with Kenya on the 77 slot, with both countries having a national passport which allows a holder to gain access to 72 countries without a visa on entry. Taking the top spot is Japan, whose passport allows a holder to enter 192 countries around the world without the need for visa payment.
Must be nice. In the last of our top stories, Pan-African Film Fest opens in Burkina Faso, resilient in face of challenges. The biannual cinema event, postponed for 8 months due to COVID-19, returned in style for its 27th edition with an all-singing, all-dancing, star-studded opening ceremony. Over 200 films made by Africans and mainly produced in Africa have been selected for the week-long event. 70 films are in the official competition, including feature films, short films, documentaries, animated films, and school productions. FESPACO is also a business opportunity, a chance to connect international buyers and outlets with the African continent. All right, that brings us to the end of our top stories. This is still Africa Good Morning, making sure that we bring you the news as you need it. We're going to have so much more for you after the break. Founded in 1991 by Dr. Jane Goodall and a group of Tanzania students, Roots and Shoots is a global network of tens of thousands of young people in 110 countries who share a desire to create a better world. Through Roots and Shoots, young people identify problems in their communities and take action by planning and implementing community service projects on behalf of people, animals, and the environment. Now, Jane Goodall's Roots and Shoots South Africa works in local communities and schools to educate and inspire young people to take action for people, animals, and the environment. Roots and Shoots also works to raise awareness of the need for conservation, community development, and about chimpanzees in Africa. Let's have a look at this clip.
The environmental and humanitarian program that empowers and inspires the world's youth, called Roots and Shoots, is an idea that was born out of despair. A growing realization Jane Goodall had while doing conservation work around the globe.
Everywhere I went, in Africa, in Asia, in North America, in Europe, I met young people who seemed to have lost hope, who were bitter, angry, depressed, apathetic. And when I began talking to them, they all said more or less the same thing. We feel like this because we think you've compromised our future, and there's nothing we can do about it. And so that led into our program for youth, Roots and Shoots, which is now in 97 countries.
The Roots and Shoots program harnesses the spirit and enthusiasm of young people to develop creative solutions to environmental issues. Today, there are more than 6,000 Roots and Shoots groups around the world, all working to protect the future of our planet.
Roots creep under the ground, make a firm foundation. Shoots seem small, but to reach the light, they can break open a brick wall. And the brick wall is all the problems we humans have created, from cutting down the forest, spread of the desert, overpopulation, pollution, and then human greed and cruelty and crime and war.
The youth are the ones who have the optimism, the energy, the willingness to have open minds and open hearts. They're the ones who can really change the future.
We have groups of kids from kindergarten up to university, and they do 3 projects to make the world around them a better place, one for the environment, one for animals, and one for the human community.
It empowers young adults by putting all the responsibilities in their hands. Really, it's youth coordinated. It all goes back to the youth, so that it's all driven by them. So I think that's why it's so empowering, because it's not an adult telling you what to do. It's saying, here you go, grow.
I think it really gets the point across to a lot of people, like that we should really respect animals and the environment, and that we shouldn't just think about ourselves all the time.
Thinking about, what can I do? I'm just one small person. If I put this can in the recycling bin or the trash, what difference is one can going to make? But it's opening their eyes to the bigger picture and multiplying that one action by, thousands of millions of billions of people, and then you really start to see the impact.
Roots and Shoots has had quite an effect on my students over the years. I've noticed that they are welcoming responsibility, they enjoy being involved, and most of all, they like having an opportunity to be able to make a change and make a difference.
Roots and Shoots involves an entire network of programs that connect young people and environmental allies from around the world, with coordinated events like Peace Day and the Global Youth Summit.
At our Youth Leadership Summit, we worked with the young people to enable them to create their own public service announcements about issues they cared about. And some of those PSAs were just extraordinary for their power, and they were done in just a few hours.
Rainforests all over the world are in crisis now.
We are in danger. We need to act now.
Roots and Shoots teaches us all that every individual matters. Every individual has a role to play. Every individual makes a difference. For the future of our planet and our planet's future, please support Roots and Shoots in your area and around the world.
Find a local Roots and Shoots group today and help us make a difference.
Political drama has rocked one of Zambia's political parties, the Democratic Party, where the party leader, Henry Kalamba, has been dismissed from the opposition party. Mike Sichula has this story and more. Good morning, Mike, and please take it away.
Good morning. Thank you very much. Yes, indeed, this issue has happened at a time when the opposition now, the Patriotic Front, are rebranding and trying to recapture their lost glory. So the Democratic Party is one of those political parties that were formed because of differences in the former ruling party, the PF. Mr. Hari Kalaba, who is the president of the DP, the Democratic Party, was a member of the PF, and he was the Foreign Affairs Minister. He also was a member of Parliament for party constituency. So after some differences with PF, he joined the Democratic Party. So this party actually was formed by other people. Then they used him to become a figure in terms of running in the August 12th general election, which the Democratic Party came fourth. Fourth, not that they amassed a lot of numbers, but they just came fourth because they managed to get some numbers anyway. So what has happened now is that the Vice President, Madam Judith Kawemba, and Justin Ngonge are accusing Mr. Kalaba of bringing former members of the PF into the party, to join the party. They are saying Mr. Kalaba is doing this without involving the party executive. So that's the decision that they have taken. And we can play a video from what happened yesterday at the party secretariat.
And we are here to tell you that things are never the same. Our political party, the DP that we knew, is no longer the way it is. It has been sold to the Patriotic Front, who the Zambians refused. Vehemently. So we are here to tell the nation that as Democratic Party, we've refused to be soiled. So this is Mr. Evans Chilambwe. He's also one of the owners of the party. This is Madam.
Don't even listen to whatever he's saying. These are lies.
Yeah. No, it's the fragrance you want. Cause it. You don't know. Cause it. Yeah. So there is a speech.
That's one of the things that happened there. And from between yesterday and some hours ago, Mr. Kalaba has suspended the vice president of the party, and the drama keeps unfolding. During the course of the week, probably we'll be able to inform our viewers by next week, Monday.
Wow. Interesting. From political news to fantastic reality TV, we certainly hope that there will be no such violence. However, in our next story, something that I've always considered important is the artist's sacred duty to archive the times. Now, a young pencil artist, Mercy Gondwe, has won a contract to recreate a portrait of late former President Dr. Kenneth Kaunda's iconic 1964 portrait. Tell us about this.
Yes, Mercy Gondwe is one of the talented pencil artists that we have in Zambia. She's based on the Copperbelt province, and she has won this contract sponsored by state telecommunication company Zamtel. She's been tasked with the responsibility to recreate the portrait of former President Kaunda of 1964. As you know, Zambia will be commemorating Independence Day on the 24th of October. So this portrait that she's supposed to recreate is supposed to be presented to the family on the 23rd of this month. And later on, this portrait will be auctioned to support the charities that Dr. Kaunda used to support when he was alive. So this is one of the biggest projects that Mercy Gondwe will have, and there she is in the picture. She has done a lot of pencil projects for local politicians, footballers, as well as international artists, international actors, and just a number of people across the world. She runs a page called Mercy G, and that's what she's been doing. And out of that, she has created employment for herself, as well as other people within her locality on the Copperbelt province in Kenya.
All right, in your final story, Barbara Banda will miss today's match against Malawi in the first round of Women's Africa Cup of Nations set for Bingu National Stadium in Malawi. Please tell us more.
Yes, Barbara Banda is one of the key players for the senior women's national team, but due to COVID restrictions, there she is on your left in the picture. Due to COVID restrictions from where she's based in China, she's unable to feature for the team this afternoon. So in our absence, Coach Bruce Mwape has mobilized the players that were featured for the COSAFA, and they came out third. So this match, Zambia is using this match to ensure that they qualify the team to the 2022 Women's Championship to be hosted in Morocco. If Zambia progresses through this stage, they are likely to meet Tanzania or Namibia in the next round. So the next match will be played on the 26th of October in Lusaka. So, of course, Bruce Mwape and many other soccer fans are hoping that the Chiporoporo Queens will carry the day and represent the nation in Morocco in 2022.
All right, Mike, thank you for bringing us such an intriguing package. We came from political boxers to incredible artists, and of course, ending with the Chipolopolo ladies who hope to take every crown they can. Thanks for bringing us the news from Zambia.
Thank you very much, Africa. Good morning. Do have a blessed week, you too.
All right, we certainly hope to have a blessed week, but prior to that, a blessed day would be welcomed. And one thing that makes a day extra blessed is some good weather. So let's look at the forecast up next.
Strike it gold and win 5,000 Namibian dollars in cash with Neo Paints. Simply buy Neo Paints products from the selected range and stand a chance to get one of 12 mystery buckets filled with gold paint. All 12 winners will each get 3 extra paint buckets equal to their purchase. One to replace the gold paint, the second to use on your project, and the third to give to a charity of their choice. One winner can score another 10,000 Namibian dollars by showing us your creative use of the golden paint. The best project wins the cash. Offer is valid from 27 September to 18 December at your favorite hardware store nationwide. Visit us at neopaints.com for more competition details and follow us on Facebook for weekly competition updates. Neopaints, a coat of excellence.
Now, one of my most traumatic experiences as a child was when I got malaria. I would not recommend. So, of course, I'm happy to learn about the first malaria vaccine. Who should receive this vaccine? What are the challenges of rolling out a malaria vaccine in the midst of a pandemic? Now, Dr. Pedro Alonso explains this in Science in 5.
Hello and welcome to Science in 5. I'm Vismita Gupta-Smith. We are talking today about the first ever malaria vaccine with Dr. Pedro Alonso. Welcome, Pedro. Talk to us, please, about the first malaria vaccine and its potential.
We are at a historical point in time. A first malaria vaccine is being recommended for broad-scale use among African children to help prevent malaria in this group. It is the first vaccine to reach this stage of a formal policy recommendation, and therefore this makes it a historical point in time. The vaccine contributes to our toolkit, and therefore it will be used in combination with the other tools that we have. And the vaccine reaches this stage at a critical point in time in our fight against malaria. Malaria is probably the largest killer of humans along history. We have seen amazing progress over the first 15 years of this century, unprecedented progress which resulted in more than 7 million deaths averted, more than 1.5 billion malaria cases averted. But the stark truth is that for the last 4 or 5 years, we have seen this progress plateauing, and plateauing at an unacceptably high level. We still have more than 200 million malaria cases in people living in malaria endemic countries every year. We have more than 400,000 deaths due to malaria every year, and the brunt of the disease and death is carried by Africa, and mostly by African children.
Pedro, which is the group that should receive this vaccine? And talk to us about the safety of this vaccine.
This is a vaccine developed in Africa with very strong engagement of African scientists and aimed to prevent malaria disease and death among African children. The vaccine has now been used in over 800,000 children as part of our pilot implementation programs. It builds on previous work, phase 3 trial data that were also examined by a stringent regulatory authority, the European Medicines Agency, that issued a positive recommendation on this vaccine. And we are reassured on the good safety profile of this vaccine. This is a safe and efficacious vaccine that can contribute to save lives, prevent disease.
Pedro, please speak to us about the challenges of rolling out this vaccine in the midst of a pandemic.
What we have found over the last 2.5 years of rolling out in pilot programs the malaria vaccine in 3 African countries is indeed that there is very strong demand, there is very good acceptability by the populations, and that even in the face of COVID-19, we reached very high levels of coverage within a short period of time. And that speaks of the fundamental value and acceptance of vaccines in general, and of a malaria vaccine, particularly in Africa. Moving forward, I believe that there are a number of steps that we'll still need to go through. The funding to secure the supply of these vaccines to African countries still needs to be worked out. But we are optimistic. We cannot imagine a situation where international solidarity will not generate the financial resources to allow this vaccine to reach those that need it. And in the face of COVID-19, the resilience of health systems, and particularly of vaccine delivery mechanisms also in Africa, gives us hope that this vaccine will be able to get those ultimate beneficiaries, young African children.
Thank you, Dr. Pedro Alonso. That was Science in 5 today. Until next time then, stay safe, stay healthy, and stick with science.
A fabric mask acts as a barrier to prevent the spread of the virus. It must be used correctly and always combined with other measures to protect yourself and everyone else. When wearing a fabric mask, clean your hands before putting it on. Inspect the mask and do not use it if it is damaged or dirty. Cover your mouth, nose, and chin. Adjust the mask to your face, leaving no gaps on the sides. Avoid touching the mask while wearing it. Change your mask once it gets dirty or wet. To take off the mask, clean your hands first. Remove it by the straps behind the head or ears without touching the front of the mask. As you remove the mask, pull it away from your face. Clean your hands after taking off any mask. If you need to reuse a fabric mask, store it in a clean, resealable bag. Hold the mask at the elastic ends when removing it from the bag, and make sure it is not dirty or wet before using it again. Wash fabric masks in soap or detergent, preferably with hot water, at least once a day. Make sure you have your own mask and do not share it with others. When wearing a mask, make sure you know how to put it on, use it, remove it, and discard it or wash it correctly. Remember that a mask alone cannot protect you. When wearing a mask, continue to adopt other measures to prevent the spread of the virus. Stay at least 1 meter away from others. Clean your hands frequently and thoroughly, and avoid touching your face and mask. Stay safe, and let's all prevent the spread of COVID-19.
Welcome back to Africa. Good morning. It's time for us to dive straight into your economic news stories for the day. And we start off in Nigeria as Nigeria woos World Bank to fund a vaccine plant. Nigeria's Vice President Yemi Osibanjo on Monday said the government is wooing the World Bank to finance a vaccine plant. Osibanjo said at an international conference in Abuja organized by the National Institute for Pharmaceutical Research and Development that the government was in talks with the World Bank's bank's private lending arm and other lenders to raise about $30 million to help finance a vaccine plant. I believe in the first quarter of next year, the plant, which is supposed to be located in Ota, Ogun State, will initially fill and finish, he said. Full manufacturing, we are told, is expected to follow in the coming months or years. I am not quite sure when, he added.
In our next story, Hawks and FBI makes arrests in a 100 million rand online scam. 8 foreign nationals aged 33 and 52 were arrested for the links to an alleged 100 million rand internet scam during a large-scale operation in Cape Town. The group was arrested in a joint operation led by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, United States Secret Service Investigation, Interpol, and with the assistance of the South African Hawks Serious Commercial Crimes Investigation Unit. Hawks spokesperson Colonel Katlego Mohale said all suspects will be charged with a variety of financial crimes, including conspiracy to commit wire mail fraud and money laundering. The suspects in this investigation are alleged to have ties to a transitional organized crime syndicate originating in Nigeria.
CEO wants all public holidays to be long weekends in South Africa. Low-cost airline FlySafair proposes that public holidays that fall in the middle of the week be moved to either Friday or Monday. A day of observance would then serve to recognize the historical significance of these days, should they fall on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. The proposal has been tabled with the Tourism Business Council of South Africa for review. Our intention is in no way to diminish the importance of these historical days, said Auma Conradi, Chief Executive of FlySafair. Our aim would be to look at how the time off from work can be better used to benefit the tourism industry and encourage South Africans to travel again. FlySafair has found that there is a significant increase in bookings when a public holiday falls on either a Monday or Friday. There is more than 20% increase in average passengers flown over a 3-day weekend compared to lone public holidays.
Fewer piracy incidents in Nigeria waters, Gulf of Guinea. The Nigerian Navy said on Monday that piracy incidents dropped in the Gulf of Guinea as well as the Nigerian waters. The Gulf of Guinea region recorded 28 incidents of piracy and armed robbery in the first 9 months of 2021, down from 46 a year ago, said the International Maritime Bureau in a report. Notably, Nigeria reported only 4 cases compared to 17 in 2020 and 41 in 2018, the Navy said, echoing the IMB's report.
Love is in the air. Shredded Banksy fetches record-setting $25.4 million. A partially destroyed Banksy painting sold at auction on Thursday at Sotheby's in London for more than 1,750% than it sold for just 3 years ago. It's the most expensive artwork by the artist to sell at auction ever. The work, then called Girl with Balloon, made headlines around the world in October 2018 when it self-destructed immediately after selling at Sotheby's for about $1.2 million at the time. The artist claimed it was a prank, and the auction house disclaimed any complicity in the stunt, raising many an eyebrow. The artwork was subsequently named Love is in the Bin and quickly became a cultural phenomenon, says Emma Baker, a contemporary art specialist at Sotheby's in London. During the sale, bidding began at £2.5 million and quickly rose in £500,000 increments to £14 million when 2 foreign bidders began to compete concertedly for the work. With auction house fees, the total came to $25.42 million. Yo, that's for an artist, a painting that stopped being a painting. Gotta love it. Next up, let's have a look at our economic indicators. Welcome back to Africa. Good morning. It's time for us to dive straight into your sports news stories. And we start off in the world of football with the UEFA Champions League scores and highlights. Messi rescues PSG and Liverpool get huge win at Atletico. The first 8 games of Champions League match day 3 are over after a goal-filled day of European soccer. The 8 matches in total brought 35 goals, as 7 of the 8 matches featured at least 4 goals. On the night, Liverpool got their first ever win over Atletico Madrid 3-2, while PSG came from behind thanks to Lionel Messi to beat RB Leipzig 3-2. Ajax were able to absolutely destroy Dortmund 4-0, and Real Madrid got back on track after their loss to Sheriff by putting 5 past Shakhtar on the road. In the early matches, Manchester City went to Club Brugge and hung 5 goals on the home team, winning 5-1, and Sporting CP similarly notched an impressive away win in Istanbul, defeating Besiktas 4-1.
In our next story, Drogba appointed WHO's Goodwill Ambassador for Sports and Health. Cote d'Ivoire football legend Didier Drogba has been appointed the World Health Organization Ambassador, Goodwill Ambassador for Sports and Health. The 2-time African Footballer of the Year will support the WHO to promote the organization guidance on the benefits of physical activity and other healthy lifestyles and highlight the value of sports, particularly for youth. In a statement on Monday, the WHO hailed Drogba a long track record for participating in various health campaigns such as healthy lifestyle, anti-malaria, and HIV prevention control. I am honored to team up with the World Health Organization and support its work to help people reach their highest level of health possible, especially young people in all countries, said Drogba during his ambassadorship announcement event at WHO's Geneva headquarters.
How long has it been since Drogba played? The hair's gone. I didn't even know that. In our next story, Banyana coach Desiree Ellis named on elite FIFA panel. Banyana coach Desiree Ellis has been named to a 21-person FIFA technical advisory group, which has been tasked to advance and grow women's football. Desiree Ellis has attracted staunch praise for the work that she has done to grow Banyana since being appointed head coach of the women's national team in 2016. After years of struggling to achieve a high level of consistency, Banyana developed into one of the best women's teams in the African continent under Ellis, despite lacking access to the same level of developmental resources and funding compared to their Bafana counterparts.
Novak Djokovic, unsure over Australian Open involvement, won't reveal vaccine status. World number 1 Novak Djokovic once again declined to reveal whether he has been vaccinated against COVID-19 and said he was unsure if he would defend his title at the next year's Australian Open. The stage of Victoria, where the Grand Slam event takes place in Melbourne, has introduced a vaccine mandate for professional athletes, although authorities have not yet clarified that the requirement would be for those coming from abroad. I will not reveal my status whether I've been vaccinated or not. It is a private matter and an inappropriate inquiry. People go too far these days in taking the liberty to ask questions and judge a person. Whatever you say, yes or no, maybe, I'm thinking about it, they will take advantage of you, Djokovic said.
Just get vaccinated, maybe. In the last of our sports stories, racist fans face lifetime stadium bans. Racist soccer fans must be identified and banned from stadiums for life, Italian Football Federation President Gabriele Gravina said after several incidents of racism at the start of the Serie A season. We are trying to shift from what was an objective responsibility, penalizing a large part of the stadium, to individual responsibility, Gravina told Italia One. We have the technology at our disposal to identify single subjects, expel them from the stadiums, and never let them come back. Never room for racism in football. The ball is round. It accommodates everybody. This is Africa Good Morning. Your headlines after the break. Africa Good Morning has been streaming live, bringing you the news and current affairs from the SADC region and beyond. Now, if you perhaps missed our top stories at the top of the hour, or if you need a recap, here are the headlines. Ethiopia airstrikes hit Tigray capital. Bloodbath in Sokoto as bandits reportedly kill over 30, injure many in weekly market. Nigerian army says 24 Islamist insurgents killed. Rwandanese militia group invades 6 villages in the eastern DR Congo. Nigeria woos World Bank to fund vaccine plant. And in sport, Drogba appointed WHO's Goodwill Ambassador for Sport and Health. Those have been our stories.
Thank you very much for watching. Please do remember that AGM is repeated on our website, channel 1 up to from 8:30 to 9:30. We also welcome your remarks regarding our show. You can email them to us. Our email is agm_2centsworth@nmh.com.na. Alternatively, we are on Facebook and Twitter. That is at Africa Good Morning. Please do not forget to sanitize, wash your hands, get vaccinated, and play your part in the fight against COVID-19. On that note, it's all my love, all my light.
Only 2 days in the week to go. Until tomorrow, Sfera Jakanaka.